All right, thank you so much, Matt. How about a round of applause for these guys up here? We appreciate you being here. You're a beautiful audience. I heard you've been here quite a while, so we're gonna jump right into it. And David, I'm gonna start with you. Actually, you're gonna be our leadoff batter. Dodgers are playing tonight, by the way. By the way, I'm just excited to be here because I've never been to the Intuit Dome. I just wanted to say, because they don't let a Laker guy in here very often. So this is super nice to be here. But tell us about your journey kind of through the corporate leadership network side of things and that transition to Mapleton Investments and then the team ownership interests and how that went for you.
I spent 18 years at Fox working with some of the people in this room, like Rob Thune. And my focus there, I started off really in new media, but then eventually focused on the programming side of the business. And over my tenure there, oversaw many of their national sports networks, from Fox College Sports to Fox Soccer, to eventually FS1 and FS2, amongst others. And after I left Fox, I saw an opportunity as the media world was, rapidly changing and transitioning to, both streaming and sort of the hybrid between streaming and traditional providers, and decided to start a private equity firm focused on sports media and gaming. And through that, we invest in companies around the sports media and gaming ecosystem. So today I sit on the board of FanDuel. We have investments in companies like WorldWinner, which is a real gaming company that we bought from Sony. And we have investments today in a handful of professional sports teams, including Angel City FC, the NWSL team in LA, the Seattle Sounders in the MLS, the Seattle Reign in the NWSL, and in the Seattle Kraken in the NHL.
Which is a great name,
yes,
by the way. Love the Seattle Kraken. That's good stuff. Thank you. Jarrett, we have history together.
A lot
of history. We used to cover games together in like Moscow, Idaho, back in the early 2000s. And thank you for getting me my job in 2012 back at Spectrum SportsNet. But the only time I get to see him is up here now on a panel. He's a very busy man, so I had to beg AJ and Dan just to moderate this, just so I can get some time with him. You have a wide variety of responsibilities at Amazon Prime Sports. Take us through some of those.
Yeah, well, before I do that, I just wanted to say that I think everybody in this city, especially if you're a Laker fan, is so lucky that you have been in the seat you have been in for now 13 years.
Yes,
it's
14
crazy that
seasons
it's been
coming up.
13 years since
Thank you,
we
my friend.
started Time Warner Cable SportsNet, now Spectrum SportsNet. So you, on behalf of Laker fans and the city of LA, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you 7 people clapping right there. That meant a lot to me.
But yeah, so I left Spectrum 6 years ago to go to Amazon. Didn't really know exactly where the business was going. They were just starting to dabble in live sports. We had some tennis over in the UK. We were about to launch our first exclusives, which were 20 Premier League matches exclusively in the UK. And people didn't really know if the streaming technology was going to work at that time. And I came over to run live sports production. So my job is taking the rights that we acquire and turning them into the broadcast, hiring the talent, overseeing all that creative, editorial, making the decisions around the graphics, the music, kind of everything that comes with it. So, when we got going and we proved in the Premier League that we could do it, we started acquiring more rights. I think, over here, Thursday Night Football is what we're known for, but we had done a lot in Europe before we even came over here. We'd started to do Champions League in Germany, Champions League in Italy. We got the French Open rights in France. So we were really able to test a lot of the stuff that we did over there. And then, Thursday Night Football, by far the biggest thing we've ever done. Then we've added NWSL, we've added NASCAR this year, and then next Friday night will be our first foray into the NBA, which is really a global deal, 11-year deal, doubleheaders Friday night. So, what kind of started off as like an idea 6 years ago at Amazon kind of quickly grew into like a global business.
How many years of football?
How many years? This is year 4 of
This
TNF
is year 4.
Now. Yep, pretty crazy.
Wow, yeah, and you've had great games this year.
We have.
By the way. Hammad, you have a unique entrepreneurial background that begins with your interest in filmmaking and trying to get those distributed. How did that lead you to the digital streaming world of sports and Rise.
So you want to tell me how you want me to share how Rise started?
Yes.
So I've been in the film industry for 30 years. I own a small boutique distribution company called Lonely Seal, which is also a top 100 rated film festival that's based in Boston. A year and a half ago, I was at NAPD in Miami, there to purchase movies. The gentleman I was supposed to meet with didn't show up at the meeting, and the guy that did show up is now my partner in Rise. So his name is Neil Brubaker. He asked, I told him that I've got UCLA tickets, Lakers tickets, Dodgers tickets, and that I go to the Super Bowl for my birthday every single year. And he's like, I work in sports. Let's keep in touch. A month later, he said, do you want to start a fast channel? And I said, yes, right? And we're not even a year old. We started November 20. So 11 months later, we're on Amazon, which we love a lot. Amazon does very well for us. We're on most every major platform, Amazon, Samsung TV Plus. We're launching on Vizio tomorrow. We're on Roku, quite a few. So we deal with Mountain West football. We're the exclusive fast channel for that. Northeast Conference football, Mountain West basketball, gymnastics, Professional Fighters League, Japanese baseball. We're having a lot of fun. We're only 11 months old, but we are certainly on the rise, as they say.
Yeah, congratulations. And
Thank you.
I knew you had that milestone coming with Vizio. Congratulations on that. How long did it take you to get off the ground? I know you've been going for 11 months, but for it to become, come to fruition.
It's one of those stories, Chris, that they don't happen. We got, my partner Neil Brubaker got us a contract at Samsung within 18 or 19 days. I called a couple of investors. They said, if you really have Samsung, we're in, right? And that started it. So really, from the time that we started to the time that we were on the air was 3 months. It was very quick.
David, I'll go to you. Clearly, you have a deep understanding of the sports media ecosystem from both sides of it. How do you track and evaluate the performance of your teams and plethora of leagues that you're involved in with your investments in terms of, you're on Apple, right? You have CBS, Amazon, ESPN, and then you have the distribution with the NHL as well.
Well, I think, one of, hopefully the advantages we have is that, my bias is on the media side and on sort of the viewership side. So I've spent my whole career tracking audiences and tracking what audiences follow, and our investments are sort of very much aligned with that. So for me personally, obviously, a winning team, just in terms of what's on the scoreboard, obviously drives almost all things. It drives ticket sales, it drives sponsorship, et cetera. But you have, some markets, Kraken, for example, was a new team coming into the Seattle market, an expansion team, and really built momentum, built community around that. Probably no team in the history of sports has done a better job, I think, than Angel City in terms of galvanizing a community around a new team, a new franchise, in a community with so many other professional teams. And that was all based on the audience being there. They just need to be sort of tapped into. And that has led to everything from sponsorship to sold out, season ticket sales, et cetera. So those are sort of the KPIs that I really pay close attention to.
Yeah, I went to a game last year. I know you guys take a lot of pride in Angel City FC. Those games are a lot of fun. Great venue.
It's the best.
Yeah. Jared, one of your responsibilities when you left us and everyone cried with Amazon Prime Sports is
Remember the napkins with my face on
Yes.
them for the going away party?
We had cookies and everything,
Those
a
are
cake,
good.
a video that a few people got to see. Your initial entry into the kind of the sports that you now manage, not just here in the U.S., globally, you had to build a team. What were the challenges? What was that effort like? And how do you manage that with such a vast network?
Yeah, it's been one of the most fun things about this job is working globally and getting to learn, experience all the different sport cultures across the world, getting to go and feeling the passion of soccer fans in the UK or Italy or Germany. And, as far as building it, you really have to just find the right people that love and know the sport. Like wherever we go, we hire people that are fans of the sport to produce it, people that love the sport and are super credible to be on the air. And so you can find all those people, wherever it is you go, whatever sport, whether it's NASCAR, which has its own, culture, and this was our first year of doing that. So I learned a lot about that, but brought in people that, just live and breathe that sport. So we really focus on that. And then on the back end, the technology really scales globally, right? So because of what we're able to build at Amazon and powered a lot by AWS, we're able to reach customers, fans, wherever they are in whatever sport it is, and kind of have one set of infrastructure that works everywhere we go. Operationally, same type of thing, making kind of global truck deals or transmission deals. So all the back end stuff scales globally. But when it comes to who's producing the events and who's on air, really leaning into the local culture and experts in those territories.
I know getting to go to Thursday Night Football is really cool, especially for guys like us. You grew up here, but what's one of your favorite events maybe overseas that now you go to?
Roland Garros is one of the great events of all time. It's in the middle of Paris. It's beautiful. The fans are great. It's just, the red clay. Like, there's just nothing like, when you get to go to these places that are so visually distinct. I've been to a soccer match in Frankfurt, and the fans there are insane. I went to a knockout round match of Champions League at the San Siro in Milan this past year. So I've gotten to go to all these crazy places that are so fun that you don't get to experience until you get out. Also, Talladega, the Coke 600 in Charlotte.
Awesome.
Every place has unique culture.
Hammad, how do you identify programming that's of interest to you in some of the nice offerings that you guys have at Rise? What's your plan when you're
Right
charting
now,
that?
we try to identify programming that maybe other places are not focusing on, right? Because we certainly don't have Amazon's budget right now. But how I identify it is, for example, we started showing Japanese baseball, and we're blown away by how well that does, because it's live at 2 in the morning, 4 in the morning. So that when we play it again for the United States, people get to see it all over again, and it seems live to them. So it's almost a 2-for-1. But we've also found that there is a lot of interest in women's sports right now, quite a bit. And there's probably a much larger growth potential focusing on women's sports. I know we just signed a deal to bring in a lot more women's soccer. Now we're going to be doing volleyball, women's volleyball. And I'm really focusing on that. In the future, we're looking at expanding Rise to Asia. And not only just trying to show them what we program right now, but also working with producers in Asia and working with companies in Asia to find out what kind of programming what kind of Asian program do they want to see and program sports they love for their own communities to expand.
I have 2 daughters that play volleyball, so us as a family, we watch a lot of it on television, but it's fun to be able to see it now on NBC. The
Sure.
UCLA SC women's match was on NBC. You can see it on Big Fox, FS1, ESPN every single night.
Yeah, no, it's really wonderful.
So David, back to your ownership interests and what we're seeing in the continuing growth of franchise values. Do you have a strategy for evaluating new and emerging teams and leagues? And if you do, like creating an entry point to those conversations as part of new forming ownership groups like Guggenheim or Silver Lake?
Buy low, sell high. No, look, the
Genius.
yes, the reality.
I'm going to write that down.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Quote. Look, the reality is that sports, the opportunity in sports investments, from my perspective, at the level we're playing in, is not going to be at the NFL level, right? And at this point, NBA franchises, NFL, the big 3, leagues are incredibly high, those valuations. And so a different level of investor is playing at this stage in those leagues. There's still tremendous opportunity, particularly in women's sports, as you highlighted, which is not new. I mean, if you followed the data would have told you that women's sports was going to be on the rise. The number 1 soccer match in the United States, still to this day, is the Women's World Cup.
94?
Not 94.
99.
What's that?
It was 99.
99.
Brandy Chastain.
No.
No?
Japan versus USA and Canada. It was
gotcha.
20, I forgot
Yeah, it was off by years.
the year. But it's still the number one watched soccer match
Wow.
in the United States today. And the viewership of things like the WNBA and the NWSL is where the investment opportunity is. We love the NHL. We believe there's tremendous growth there, but valuations there are already, extremely high.
In the NBA world, losing the Supersonics, everyone always says they'd love to get it back to Seattle. How has the community rallied around? Obviously the Mariners are up 1-0.
Yeah, Seattle's one of the great sports towns in the country, and obviously they've rallied around the Kraken as sort of the only winter sport team in the Northwest as their own. I mean, it's become, if you go to any game, it's sold out every single time. It's an incredible environment. The Climate Pledge Arena, which is, Amazon is one of the primary sponsors of the team, and where we show the games locally on Amazon, is the first carbon neutral arena in the world. And so the team really is part of the fabric of the community. And I think the community is very proud of it. We're certainly proud of what we built.
Jared, I want to jump to you quickly before I ask you guys some group questions. And you mentioned, Thursday Night Football obviously is in full swing. Week 6, NHL Canada kicked off. What else can you share about your global calendar and then the excitement of your inaugural season on NBA, which is right around the corner?
Yeah, actually, I think we're probably just got off the air in Canada. It's Thanksgiving in Canada right now. We had to move. We worked with the NHL and the Leafs. They were supposed to play tonight. It was going to go head-to-head against the Jays. They played earlier in the day as part of our Monday Night Hockey package. So that's exciting. It's our first hockey game of the year. Thursday night, obviously, full swing. Champions League, full swing. I think everybody right now is super focused on the launch of NBA. We've got rehearsals going on right now at our new studio in Culver City. We did a test game the other night in San Antonio, tested out our new mobile units. The NBA package is going to be in 12 different languages across the world. It's a very ambitious, elaborate plan. So we're really excited. We have a brand new crop of talent. We have a lot of fresh voices that are really familiar faces to people. We have Blake Griffin on our air. We've got Steve Nash. We have Dirk Nowitzki. We've got Udonis Haslem. Taylor Rooks is going to host. We're just really excited about the group. Candace Parker, Dwayne Wade are going to be part of the coverage. So we're just, everybody that we've hired to work on this loves the game and is super excited to build something new. And obviously there's always nerves when you're starting something new, but everybody's also super fired up for it.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, man. Congratulations, and we can't wait to watch. This is for the group.
Yep.
I'll start with you, and then you can all jump in. This is kind of one that I think I get asked all the time. It's kind of about the media outlets for fans and viewers and how to watch, because it seems like there's a different game on every single night on a different platform. I can't answer that because it's above my pay grade. Like, how does one navigate, this search engine? Is there a better way? Is it just got to find it?
That's a great question. I think you have to have an angle. You have to have a reason for people, especially for a small company like Rise. There has to be a big reason for them to come to us, right? So we focus on certain things that work well for us. Like the Japanese baseball, like the Mountain West football. And what we've done as a small company is we've partnered with the people that run the conferences, and all of the schools will partner with our Instagram to put out the signal, to let these schools know, hey, look, it's not USC Notre Dame, it's Nevada against, the Lobos of New Mexico. And if you guys want to watch it on Rise. So I think it's more detailed targeting.
And David, you obviously can answer this from the cable executive side, network side to ownership.
Sure, and Amazon has, I think, done a phenomenal job of organizing multiple networks through the feed. I'm a DirecTV subscriber. I get most of my viewership through DirecTV through either authenticated or streaming services. So from that perspective, there's so many addressable ways to find out what's on where that it's so simple. It's at your fingertips today. But it is, very interesting just in terms of, the history of the space, how, what was once, frankly, a very bundled, product has become, much more unbundled, and yet will be, I believe, in the future bundled again. So, it's just what comes around goes around.
Yeah, I mean, it's something we think about all the time at Amazon. How can we simplify that experience for sports fans? And obviously, we have our exclusive games that we've just talked about a bunch, but we also, see ourselves really as a hub for other services. We carry Fox One, we carry Peacock, we carry Paramount Plus, we carry HBO Max. All of these services we carry. We're going to be the official digital home of NBA League Pass. So you can get all of these services through Prime Video. We carry Rise. Right. So if you want to watch, the Mountain West on Rise, you can actually watch that through Prime Video. So we're working on, really putting these things together to kind of solve the problem that you're talking about.
Great answers. Separate from your business interests, as a sports fan and viewer, are there innovations or enhancements you see in other sports properties, NFL, MLB, Formula One perhaps, that interest you? I'll go to you first.
I can't wait until we have, Robot Empires coming next year? Is that going to happen? So they say. Yeah. It's interesting. Growing up, I still remember the 1985 World Series when my Kansas City Royals were out by 4 yards and were called safe, right? And then won that game and won Game 7. So we wouldn't have had that ring if there was more technology back then, right? So I do think that one thing I'd like to see is bad calls go away. So if technology can help with that, that would be great.
Jared, do you want to jump in?
What was that question again? I just remember Joaquin Andujar on that play.
Yeah, I was
really
thinking
mad,
Cardinal.
right?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
thinking
Game
there
seven.
He got tossed.
There were
He
some real
started
problems
Game
with that.
7.
Yeah. Fans have never forgotten that. Just like other interests, just as a sports fan and
I'll tell you
viewer.
one thing we're very excited about
Yeah.
is that recently we announced that we're going to be covering the Masters starting next year.
Oh, that's
That is
great.
awesome.
Extended coverage. We're going to come on Thursday and Friday morning, 2 hours of coverage.
So I don't have to wait till noon to.
No, we'll be
Yeah,
on. We'll
thanks.
be on 2 hours prior to that. We'll get to welcome the golf world to Augusta National on Thursday morning, which is just amazing and a thrill for all of us.
Will you have your own broadcast team, or will you be?
We are. I mean,
Partnering
literally,
with-
the deal got announced a couple
Wow.
weeks ago, so we're.
That's a
working
tough
through
question by
all
me. I
that.
apologize for that. Yeah.
So I'll tell you.
I'm available. Is what I'm saying. Yeah.
I'll tell you two things that excite me about the future of sports. Number one is, I mentioned my association with FanDuel. I do think whether it's fantasy or gaming, the integration of gaming and watching and wagering, not in California, but in states where it's permissible, is really, I think, giving fans new ways to connect with every single game in very entertaining and dynamic ways, number one. And number two, I think, after today or after this session, there's a ceremony or something at COSM.
Yep.
And I think, what COSM is doing with shared reality, I think, the notion of watching a game, with a goggle on by yourself is, it takes away sort of the aspect of really being able to have sports as a shared experience.
Right.
COSM sort of flips that on its head, and I think is an unbelievable experience that if you haven't seen it, I'm excited for the people in this group here to see it today.
It is an extraordinary place, and you kind of led me to my last thing, just like, new topics, new, like tracking going forward. Are you guys looking for new trends? Like AI seems to be a hot topic. Different ways to watch, COSM being the example, and everyone can see it if you haven't been there.
Yeah, I'll jump in. We focus a lot on what we can do with AI at Amazon, and I think we're probably early adopters on how to incorporate AI-driven technology into the broadcast. We've built for Thursday Night Football essentially a blitz predictor. We kind of started with this problem of, okay, could we use AI modeling to identify blitzes before they come, right? And we have a machine learning team of scientists in Israel, working with producers on my team, working with our analysts and ex-football players to help annotate the plays, to build these models. So if you watch Thursday Night Football and you see these red circles kind of light up as, maybe a safety is coming up to the line,
Sure.
the model's gotten really good. It's a really fun way to watch the game because what you're really doing is you're saying, what is the quarterback seeing? What is he looking at? Who's he trying to pick up? And how's he going to adjust to that? So, as you watch Thursday, take a look at that.
When you're in that truck, it must be pretty incredible to see. I mean, every part of that field is covered. Just going to that Rams-Niners game, the camera above,
Yeah,
you don't see it on
our
TV,
show is
but when you're
very
there.
robust and a lot of fun. We have a ton of bells and whistles, and but they're all there for a reason. They're all there to add to the storytelling, to give better viewpoints of what's going on the field, to help with the officiating, all the super slow-mo technology we have out there. It's all there for a reason.
Yeah, jump in if you guys want to jump in.
Yeah, I wonder, does Nickelodeon still do the children's angle for NFL football? Because
I don't know if they're doing it this season, but
it was fantastic. And I know, I've been an NFL fan my entire life, but people that don't really watch the sport turn on that Nickelodeon broadcast that's built for children, and it's a very, very easy way to assimilate into a sport and to really know what's going on very quickly. And I think that plus I think recently there was something that said that 52% of people watch programs on television and 48% now are watching it on iPads and iPhones. So it's changing. It's changing. People are watching a lot more on smaller devices. Right?
Yeah, I think, David, understanding AI first is probably going to be the thing that everyone's looking at in terms of how it can enhance, how it can help.
Sure.
And now, just the landscape of ratings are always a big topic in terms of who's watching full games. Kids are now looking at highlights, following social media. That's where they get all their action.
Yeah, I think with fantasy and even sort of the evolution of fantasy with things like guillotine leagues and others and parlays, where you can
knockout pools,
exactly, where you can play against in the same day across different sports. It makes the sports more sticky, right? And actually people are watching longer because of it. Yeah. So from that perspective, I do think AI is obviously changing everything. But certainly in terms of viewership, it's going to make anything you watch more sticky with, advanced analytics and graphics and, other things.
All right, give these guys a round of applause. 3 really smart guys.
Thank you.